Hey guys, welcome to another devlog of Edenville here. I'm excited to start this devlog. It's been quite a while since the last time that I started working on a devlog. I don't know, I've actually forgot how long ago it has been. I'm ready to start this devlog and show you guys what I have in store for you guys. So welcome, if you guys coming back. Welcome to another devlog here. And if you're new here, this is your first time being here, welcome. This is Jojo Dev. I work on a lot of games. I've been in the industry as well. Currently just making development blogs for a couple games already. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do have development blogs for those, how I built those demos. And currently working on this game called Edenville that I'm planning to release in the future for PC and mobile. We'll see how how it goes from there. But welcome guys. So I apologize for not uploading another devlog for quite a bit now. I don't know, I feel like it's been more than 2 months. I released a couple videos here and there to have up videos in my channel in the meantime that I'm working on this other devlog. This one took a little bit longer, but I will explain as I go through this devlog and talk to you guys what I have implemented. But yeah, I apologize for the slow videos. Life has been hitting hard for me lately, and I'm just trying to figure out ways how to get out of it right now. So because of that, it's taking most of my time away from this game, but I'm still working on it slowly and a little bit over time. But yeah, just trying to figure out how to get out of this situation that I'm in. Maybe another side hustle that I can get into. As you guys seen in my previous devlogs, I do have aquariums that have shown like b-rolls of my shrimps in the past, and maybe I can create something in business with that, or just have like a side hustle out of that. So if you guys are interested, or you guys own shrimps and are interested in buying from me specifically, or you just want to check out my aquariums, feel free to check them out. It is Jojo Aquatics. I do have a TikTok, which most of my content is that right now, but I do have other ones like in YouTube and Instagram and Facebook as well. So I'll have the links in the description if you guys are interested in just checking it out. But anyways, yeah, I'm back here doing another devlog. So before I jump into the new things that I added to this game, I want to take a little bit of a step back and look what this game has to offer at the moment. I started from the bottom straight and started with my first devlog on how to create this game. If you guys have been here since the beginning, I work in the game industry for about 10 years already, and every time we create a new game or a project, we start from scratch. You know, everything's gray box, and we work on features first before start implementing the game loop, before we start adding the art into the game. The art comes last. And maybe occasionally you will update the art a little bit, but it won't be the final art until towards the end. It will always be gameplay, adding the features and everything, all of that. So everything's mostly gray box when you first start. And that's how I started with this game. So I want to take a step back, showing you guys what are the features that I added to this game. And I think I'm in a good spot where I can start hooking up everything together and be able to create this awesome story that I would love to tell you guys. So let's go over the features of what we have for this game. So I started off with this game being procedurally generated, right? If you guys recall, if you guys been in front of back, been watching since the first day I started working on this game, I started working on procedural generation. I wanted initially this game to be like an infinite game, like in Minecraft. You're able to traversing any directions and you can go as far as you can go, and everything can be procedurally generated. Maybe you'll find some ruins and all of that kind of stuff. And the same thing for dungeon generation. So there will also be dungeons in here. Those won't be infinite. It will be procedurally determined when you enter that cave. These are already predefined rooms that I already have created, and it randomly selects which rooms will be connected to each other. And I wanted to do it this way just because I wanted to have more control over dungeons and be able to know what exactly this dungeon's gonna have and all of that. And I got it to a good place, I believe. Be able to traverse to multiple dungeons and be able to see that they're all different every time you come in, and be able to do whatever I want to do inside dungeons. At the moment, there isn't much to do inside dungeons yet. I still need to add like treasure chests, enemies, and all of that in there. The procedural generation for it is actually in a good spot. I may have to dial back the procedural generation when it comes to the outer world, given that the situation where I'm in right now, where, you know, as you guys know, I've been laid off for the past 2 years already, and it's been really hard to get a job right now, but I'm still trying, and that's why I'm here creating this indie game and see where it lands in. Well, because of that, it's been taking most of my time trying to figure out how to get out of the situation where I'm in. I believe I want to have an infinite world in this game, it will take quite a lot longer than I want it to be. It will be a really long time. So I'm gonna dial it back a little bit, where it's gonna be a finite, distance away. For every time you load into a new game, everything's gonna be randomly procedurally generated. It just won't be infinite, as I have mentioned in the beginning of this game, and I apologize for that if you guys were looking into that. I just, life is just been hitting hard, but I hope you guys understand. And maybe if everything changes in the future, I can jump into that, or maybe to a new different game that I create in the future. That's where it will be in. But that's about procedure generation. There's crops, where you could be farming in this game, right? And you can use these farms to grow crops and grow fruits. You'll be able to harvest and be able to sell all of these fruits that you're going to be growing to get some cash and be able to upgrade or buy stuff for other seeds and all of that. One of the major things that I would like to focus on is also fishing for this game. As I mentioned in the past devlogs, I love fishing. I'm a fish guy. When I grew up, I used to go with my dad, and I always enjoyed it. And now that I'm older, we don't really go in anymore. My dad is kind of, he's in an old age now that he's not able to do a lot of stuff anymore. So I would like to create a game where you can be here. Your character is gonna have a father, where you're gonna be fishing together, and I will be creating these cool events that I would like to have in this game. And you're gonna be having a great time with your father in here. And that's something like cool, something that I would really love to add in this game. So every time I play this game, I can remember those memories that I've had with my father about when it comes to fishing. So fishing is definitely a top thing when it comes to this game. The next thing, you're able to chop down trees, break rocks, and all of these things that you do, it creates resources, right? And you be able to use these resources for future things that is going to be in this game. The next thing is I implemented AI to be able to have NPCs and enemies in this game. So you're able to attack enemies, and then you also have NPCs that are going to be in the village where you can interact with and be able to either, maybe there's a trader or a sell shop where you can sell your stuff or you can buy stuff from. So you'll have dialogue interactions as well. And then there's a few other things that I've added, like shaders, scene transitions, and particle effects that I've added into the game. It still needs a lot more. There's some other stuff that I added. That's like the major features that I would like to have in this game. There's still some other ones where I would like to maybe create puzzles in here as well, where you can do certain puzzles and unlock certain areas, which that's mostly going to be happening inside dungeons. But that's a future thing that I would like to add. But as of right now, that's what I have for this game so far. I think I'm at a good point where I can start hooking most of these stuff together, create a gameplay loop and create quests where a couple of villagers where they can give you certain things that you can do in this world, where they can give you quests and you gain money from it and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that's where I want to be at right now. So let's jump into the present and let's start implementing these features that I would like to implement for this devlog. Let's get started, guys. Let's go. So the next major thing that I definitely would love to have in here is be able to create scenes that can revolve my farm, right? Or this is going to be the scene where your farm is going to be at. It's going to tell me exactly how this scene is going to look like. For the farm, it will give me a little bit more refinement when it comes to what I want the farm to look like. And it doesn't have to be procedurally generated, right? And then also the village. I want the village to be defined by me, and then be able to lay it out into the outer world. So I'll be able to create all of these assets that the village is gonna have in my farm, and be able to hook them up with the tile maps and adding a shader to it so that I can change the colors for these guys. So I don't have to create multiple of these items of different colors. All I have to do, maybe do it black and white, and then do a shader that is gonna color them into the colors that I want them to be at, and be able to create alternate tiles for these guys so that they can have different variations for that, right? At least that's the main idea. Now that I have that all hooked up, I would like to get into the game and show you guys how it looks like. Right now, this is how my farm scene is gonna look like right now, where this is gonna be a farm. Right now, it's still not the final look on how this is gonna look like right now. Ideally, you will start, when you first start this game, you can buy, or you end up finding this farmhouse that is super cheap because it's destroyed and all of that. And that's what I want it to look like. I know it's not fully destroyed or anything like that, but over time you're going to be upgrading your farmhouse that is going to eventually start looking a lot better. Other than that, you're going to have this area where you have to clear it out and be able so that you're able to, you know, plant your crops and all of that. You have a little pond on the side where you can fish, and then you have a little cave inside of here, which I don't know what exactly I want this cave to be at the moment. I may end up just removing it out of the way and maybe put something else there. I'm unsure about it, but this is basically what the look of how the farm is going to look like. And this makes it easier for me so that then I can just, when I create the world, I can randomly select the position in the world from the seed that I'm given and be able to create a random position. I'm gonna place this entire scene and have the generation generate all the tiles around it. And the same thing would be for the main village. This is still not final. There's still a lot more stuff I'd like to do. I still would love to implement maybe some street lights in here so that you can have lights at night. So it lights up the area pretty well and be able to have all of that other stuff in there as well. But so right now, this is my temporary village. And this is going to be like the village center or whatever. This is most likely going to be the elder's house here of this village. And this village is going to be near to your farm. So it's not going to be too far away. So I'm going to use the same position of the farm and then create a random position around it that this village scene is going to be put into. So that's the main idea. I can easily define this and update it, and it's going to take effect when I actually play it into the world. So let's jump into the game. So we're back in here, and if I were to zoom out, you'll see, hey, here's my village. And then if you zoom out a little bit more, you can see that not the village, my farm is in here, right? And then my village is down below on the bottom left or right. And then the world is just procedurally generated and the direction that I around the farm. And that's basically, as you can see, it ignores generating anywhere within the scene bounds, and it will just generate around that. And that's awesome of having this in this game. I can go into my farm scene if I wanted to, make some changes, go back into the game, and the actual game will take those updates and change that in the scene, so I don't have to worry about it later on. So that's where I'm at with the village scene. I'm actually pretty okay with this right now. At the very moment, there are some minor bugs in here that I really would like to fix. It's not a big issue, or might be a big issue depending where the village or your farm is laid in. Do I have an issue here? No, I don't. It's actually in here, right? So I created this, so this farm here, the procedure generation is going to generate around it, but there's some situations where it doesn't look that good. Just like in this corner here, and everything that comes around the right side won't be 100% perfect. There's going to be issues where it doesn't look that great when it comes in here in this direction here, right? So you can see the village bouncing here on this side, and then the procedure generation takes effect afterwards. So there could be issues in here, like this transition that I have in here, right, where it doesn't look correctly where I'm transitioning when it comes to the grass into the dirt, and it should look similar to like this side in here where my mouse is at, and it should be laid out the same in this direction. And the problem is that the way that this generation works, the procedure generation, is that it grabs one of the tiles, it looks to the right, it looks to the bottom, and it looks to the bottom right, and it uses those three neighboring tiles to determine what this tile is going to be. It never looks to the one behind it at all, and I think that's going to be an issue when it comes to this. Either I need to update a little bit of the logic there, or I was thinking of maybe adding a little bit more buffering to this tile or to this village, like a 2 tile buffering, and then use that to determine what to transition to. I think that might be better. I am unsure about it at the moment and what direction I want to go in. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you guys have any thoughts on how to fix this kind of situation. I am still thinking and figuring out what would be the best solution for it, to determine how to change this tile to equal to be able to transition to the one that's next to it correctly. Yeah, I think adding an extra buffer tiles or padding to here will be able to figure that out. and then I'm gonna have to look into figure out why this tile doesn't actually correctly show. So I'm gonna have to look into that and figure out why that issue is. And that's basically it. I'm in a good spot when placing my village scene in anywhere in my world. I just some minor tweaks that I need to do that I'm aware of. So I'm just letting you guys know about that. The next major thing that I would like to jump into, as you can see, there is some stuff in here that I never mentioned before. And this is basically like tall grass that is gonna be in this game. And right now nothing happens with these. So how are you going to clear out this area or your farm if there is nothing that can be done with it? So I'm gonna have to introduce a new tool that I have to implement to be able to do that. So let's jump into that and I'll talk to you guys then. Alright then guys, it's been a couple days since the last time. Today I would like to talk to you guys about the new tool that I would like to add into this game, which you guys are pretty sure you guys figured out what kind of tool this is going to be, and that's going to be the Scythe. You're going to use this Scythe to be able to cut down grass, and it's going to produce a resource for you, just like when you chop down trees or rocks. It's going to produce for you hay or possibly seeds. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, but for a time being right now I'm going to use hay and be able to use this to be able to sell stuff and be able to buy other things at the moment. Let's jump into the game and let me show you what I have for that. All right, so now that we're in the game, I have this tool in my inventory that I've been having for a while, but it just didn't have any logic into it. And it is this Scythe that I have down here. So now if I have this selected and activated, and if I clicked on one of these guys, it will do an action to be able to cut down this grass and produces hay that is in here. So now this is my hay icon for that resource, and I can start cutting down stuff around my farm and be able to create more resources in here. So that's super simple, nothing too crazy about it. As you guys know, another thing that I've added, be able to highlight things that you hover. So as you saw, you were seeing things that are being highlighted everywhere I hover. There can be items that can be highlighted for things that you can interact with. Either it's going to be with the Scythe or with any other tools. Everything gets highlighted, and those items going to be that are highlighted or things that you can interact with. I'm unsure if I want to keep this, but I think it's pretty cool regardless to be able to highlight objects around and have an outline for them. I thought that was pretty sweet. So it kind of tells you what you're focused on is at the moment. But sometimes I was playing around and I was clicking on stuff, and sometimes not the tree that I wanted to, that I was clicking on was not the one that I was actually focused, but it was the one behind it. So they're like this, my mouse is in front of it, but the one that actually is being focused is for the tree that's behind it. That's why I wanted to do this little highlight over it right now, and I think it looks pretty sweet. I would like to know what you guys think of this, if it's, you know, it's a cool thing to add, or should I be removing it from this game. I think it looks pretty good, and it only does it for items that you're able to interact with. So I can't do that to the house, I can't do that to anything else besides objects that you can interact with and remove. And I think that looks pretty good actually, but I'd love to know what you guys think of it so far. And not only that, but if I were to click anywhere in the map, it will give you a green tile and give you the direction, the final location, or where the player is going to go to. Because sometimes I would get lost and trying to figure out, hey, I don't know where exactly I clicked on, and this is where I want to be at, and all of that. So I think adding in like an actual visual feedback of where actually you're going to be moving to, if you're using the AStar algorithm, it will then tell you where exactly you're going to be moving to. That's like the couple of things that I added so far into the game since the last time. There's one final thing that I actually would like to add to this game right now that will hook this game and the gameplay loop a little bit better. As you may know, if I were to go to my inventory, switch off to my sword, or my heavy sword I should say, right now I can attack, right? I can do all these attacks, but I can attack, but I can't move. You're just locked into a place. But that's because this is a heavy sword, right? I'm debating maybe I'll move a little bit slower when I'm attacking maybe, but as of right now, you just pause in your location when you start attacking, and you stay in place, right? But I would like to add some other things as well, like smaller, lighter type of weapons into this game, and it will make you be able to move around and attack at the same time. So that's something that I would like to add into this game, and I feel like it will make it look a little bit better. when it comes to attacking, so you're not just like stuck in one place and not be able to do anything with it, right? So let's jump into that, and I'll talk to you guys when I get that done. So talk to you guys soon. Alright then guys, so now I've implemented this feature where I wanted to be able to do multiple attacks, and I've worked on other things as well in the meantime, but let's talk about one thing first. So let's go into my inventory. Let's drop this, and I have a dev tool where I'm able to add a weapon to here, and I say weapon, dagger, iron. There we go. As you can see, now it's in my inventory, and if I were to click on this, you can see now I can attack and I can move at the same time. I can run and be able to attack at the same time. Let's go. That actually looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Though I don't know if I actually hooked up collisions. I don't know if it still works the same way. But now that I'm able to move around, be able to do other actions in here, that's actually pretty cool. I'm excited for that. You'll be able to attack enemies, run away, and be able to attack enemies, especially if you're attacking maybe something that's a little bit more difficult than it should be, or you know, you're really running low on health or whatever. You're able to, you know, to dodge away and all of that. But that's cool. Cool. So the other things that I've added into this game, or I've done since the last game, is I've been working on this on my live streams that I've done in the past. So if you guys have been here or I've seen my other live streams that I've done, I think I've done 4 already. So if you guys are interested in these live streams, feel free to check those live streams out. I will do one every Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, so in the morning, and I'll probably do it for about 2 hours if anything, and I'll just play around the game, finding any bugs. If you guys are interested, feel free to join. But in those live streams, I've been fixing bugs, which I'm very excited about. The game feels so much better now. I'm not saying that it's completely bug free, because it's kind of hard for a game to be bug free, right? There's no game out there that is bug free, or at least for the majority of the games out there. I'm excited to be able to have fixed majority of those bugs that I had. We went through all the Trello board. If you guys have seen those videos, you'll see the list of bugs that I was able to fix, and I'm very happy about it. And this game feels so much better already. Not only that, I mean, I won't mention all the bugs if I wanted to, but you feel free to check out my live stream instead, and I go over all the bugs that I actually fixed. Not only that, I actually implemented something else as well while I was there. I wanted to add another UI. Is still not final, like, man, we still need to fix this UI as well, but there was issues where if there was multiple items laid out near or at least on top of each other or next to each other, it was kind of difficult to pick up items that you were wanted to pick up. So I created a UI for those, right? So let's say I dropped the fishing rod, I dropped this, I dropped that, I dropped the dagger, and let's drop majority of these items, and now they're all laid up in the ground, and it's kind of hard and difficult to try to pick up all these items. So instead of pressing E, the E will do 2 different functions. If you press E to interact, it will check around it to see if there are more items within the vicinity, and if there is, the UI will pop up like right now. Or if there's only one item, then it will just pick up the item without showing you the UI. So this UI is still not final. I'm just letting you guys know. I still need to work on the UI, but you have this UI here where, you know, if you highlight over them and click them, you can see what they are, what kind of sort they are, and all of that, and you're able to add it back to your inventory. So, you know, that's actually pretty nice. You know, quality of life I added into the game. There's still a whole bunch of other quality of life, so QOL for short, to be able to add to this game, to be able to make it easier. But yeah, that's actually majority of the things that I've added. One other thing that I actually did as well was optimize the AStar grid. Previously, what I did was that every character, including the player, all the enemies, all the NPCs, would create their own AStar grid and initialize the entire AStar grid. As you may know, my game is procedurally generated, right? It has 9 chunks, and each of these 9 chunks, there's a 30 by 30 grid. I may end up reducing that over time if there's any issues or lagging or anything in the game, especially in mobile. So, but as of right now, it's able to handle 30 by 30 grids per chunk, and I have 9 chunks. And it has to initialize the AStar with all of these chunks that I have. And having the enemy spawn and initialize all of these was kind of a hassle, because it would chug every time an enemy spawned, or if I were to transition to a new section of the chunk, it would lag completely. And there was 2 different variations that could have done this. One, the major thing is be able to have just one AStar grid, and for all the characters that end up using the AStar path to use the same AStar grid, right? They all share the same AStar grid. So I think that was the best solution that you can do when it comes to this. So now we have enemies in here, and you can see them spawn, and now there is no more chugging happening every time they spawn now. So I'm very excited about it. And also one thing, guys, I've been told in the past that you guys prefer to have more technical development in here being shown in the devlogs. So I would like to show how I went about doing the AStar and improving it a little bit. And I did this in a live stream, in my last live stream, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up if you guys want to check that out. So how I ended up working with this was that all the characters, NPCs, and enemies are using the AStar character script, and most of that logic and how I was creating the AStar grid was in here. So what I did instead, it was to create a new class called Eden AStar grid, and this is going to be a global script that can be part of my globals, and everything that I had to do with AStar grid that was inside AStar character, I moved it over to the Eden AStar grid. So all of the logic when it comes to generating it and all of that will be done in the AStar grid, which is the global script. And all I did was to place the functions that was in the AStar character to use the AStar grid instead. So when it came to like, hey, I want to retrieve a path from this position, it will give me the path, and I will call the path from the Eden AStar grid instead of its own AStar. So all AStars are removed from their characters, and by doing so, I was able to fix the issue with the lagging that was happening for the enemies every time they spawn. And I think this definitely helps it out with memory as well, because then every character having memory and an AStar path for 9 chunks, that each of those chunks have a 30 by 30 grid. It definitely would have helped it out for sure. So not only did I reduce a bit of memory there, if that generated a lot of memory, I didn't test it. And that's basically it when it came to how I went about fixing the issue with the optimization for the Eden AStar with the AStar grid. So there you go, guys. Ooh, you know what? Let's test out. I don't have my dagger anymore. Let's use. I don't take damage anyway, so it should be fine. Let's add my dagger. Can it still work? Actually, I would like to know. Yes, it still works. Woo! Oh, this feels so good, guys. Let's go. I never tried it till now. That's so cool. Actually, I like it a lot better than the heavy sword right now. But the heavy sword does a lot more damage, or will be in the future, once I hook up the correct values for these things. But this actually feels really good. Now that I'm not stuck standing around. That's actually pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. But yeah, the major thing I wanted to fix in here is to fix that freeze, or that little hiccup that happens when an enemy spawned. When enemies spawn, and now that I have that fixed in a good place, I can start adding more enemies and maybe more life into this game right now, because there's nothing much happening into the world right now. I would love to have more life in here. Maybe I have some animals passing by and some birds and all of that kind of life out there, right? And more enemies too, for sure. But cool, this feels really good, and I'm excited to be able to add more enemies in this game. And I'm looking to my list and see if there's anything else. I think that's about it, guys. Let's actually go into the village, which I have not shown you guys. So my trader still works. He's still there. So if I were to go in there, the other thing, as you can see right now, the reason why it's chugging right now is it's still the AStar. So every time I go to a new chunk, it still has to initialize all the cells right now and trying to find a solution for that right now. I can't really use threads because those functions, tile map functions, does not work. And not only that, I'm also using set cells terrain connect as well. And as I mentioned in the past in one of the videos that I uploaded as well, that is not a good thing to do when calling them on runtime, because it does chug. So I may have to do my clips and do them differently and create my own thing for them in the future. But I'm not going to trip right now. I will be updating those in the future. So just wanted to let you guys know. Ooh, another thing, I actually didn't even post it in my bullet points here, is the camera. I separated the camera away from the player because I wanted to create how do I say, game feel. So as you can see, if I move to the right, the camera moves a little bit forward, so it shows you what exactly is going to be on this side, right? Before, if you go back to my previous videos or devlogs, the camera will be stuck, and will make the character stuck be on the center at all times, no matter what direction I went. But I actually like this. It reveals a little bit of this direction if I was going in this direction. If I was going to the right, it reveals to the right. If I go bottom, it reveals a little bit in the bottom, and the same thing a little bit to the top. So I actually really love this. And if I was diagonal, it will reveal diagonally on this area as well. And it looks pretty good. There's just minor fixes that I need to do as well, but other than that, it is looking really, really good. And I think I just arrived at the village right now. Sweet. All right, so this is supposed to be the blacksmith, right? So if I were to go in here, as of right now, all the houses look the same. I still haven't figured out exactly what I want to do inside their houses yet, but the character looks the same, I said, for the time being. But I will change that in the future. So let's interact with so let's see what he says. You're the one taking over the busted old farm, huh? Good luck. You'll need tools that don't snap in half first swing. Name's Runa. I work steel, not miracles, but maybe I can help you turn rust into results. Ooh, I love that. Already liking her already. All right, so coming out of the blacksmith's house, let's go to the other houses in here. There's another one coming up here. Let's go through, cut down through this tree over here, and let's go. I believe this is the elder's house. And like I said, I'm working on fixing they all look the same right now, but I will be updating these in the future. So, the farmer at last. I sense your arrival long before the wind whisper your name. This land has been quiet too long. Perhaps you're the one to steer it once more. Come back later. We have much to speak of and much to remember. Ooh. Very exciting. All right. So let's go. I don't think there's... Oh yeah, there's one to the right side of here, which should be my shopper, which you guys already talked to before, or if you've seen my previous devlogs, we've talked to this guy before. So let's go in there real quick and let's talk to this guy. So like I said, we've talked to this Jenkins guy. The Jenkins is going to be the store owner. So, well, yo, welcome, my friend. What are you in here for? And let's see what you have for sale. So this is back to normal, to how it was before. So this is going to be the seller, the shopkeeper, and we be able to buy and sell stuff that you have in here. So cool. So what are you in here for? Never mind. And it says, okay, see you next time. And then there's 2 more places that we need to go to. So we still have the doctor that is in the village, and then the fisherman. So let's go to this house over here. I believe this is the doctor. And it says, hold still. Slightly malnourished, bags under eyes, sun exposure. Yep, you're definitely a farmer. I'm Mira. You get sick, you come to me. That includes monster bites. Don't wait until something falls off. Let's go. So that's a doctor for the time being. I need to create dialogues for most of these guys, but that's what I have at the moment. And let's go to the last one that you guys are not seeing, and that is the fisherman. The fisherman's house. Alright, let's talk to this guy over here. Did the river call to you? Or did you just wander over because the crops ain't biting? Name's Gem. I fish. I listen. The water talks if you're quiet long enough. Might even tell you where the big ones hide. Interesting. Interesting. And that's what I have for you guys. This is so far what I've implemented, and I think I'm in a good spot where I have all of these features that I have, and I'm starting to hook these guys up together and be able to create a pretty decent game loop that I would like to have for you guys, and be able to create a demo. At least that's my goal right now, to be able to have a good gameplay that I can use for a demo for you guys to play in the future. So stay tuned for that when that day comes. But there's still some things that I still need to work on, and that is just the visuals of this game. I still want to create maybe some shaders and stuff, and maybe be able to make this look a little bit better, and just art style basically. You know, I'm not an artist, I'm not a sound designer, I'm not a game designer, and I'm none of that. I'm just a programmer. I'm just learning, and maybe hopefully be able to improve my skills in this area as I'm working on this game. There is one thing that I would like to actually show you guys. I didn't want to show it to you guys yet, but I will just show it to you guys right now. So I'll be working on my title screen, right? So as you can see, I'll show you what it currently looks like. I've already seen it already, but I just wanted to let you guys see it once more. This is the title screen that I've had for quite a while now, and I would like to update it a little bit. So I've been working on it. It's still not final. I'm still trying to learn art. I'd like to show you what I have in here. So I've been creating this kind of visual thing that I have in my head, and in my head it looks amazing, but I'm trying to spit that out into a canvas. And this is what I came up with in the past 2 days, and it's still not final. I feel like it needs a little bit more work in this area. Maybe there's too much details in here, maybe too many shadings happening here, because it's about, let's see, 1 2 3 about 4 different shading colors in this area. But I really wanted to create this like floating island thing here, where you have like the grass falling off a little bit. You have a river or pond here where it's also like falling off to the side. You got some stuff on the bottom where it's most likely like the roots that's coming off out of this island, and you got a little bit of grass right there as well. So I think I need to improve a little bit on my shading in this area here. Let me put my logo on top. Maybe that will look a little bit better. And maybe if I create a little bit more of animations in here, probably look a little bit better. So I do have other ones in here where maybe it's a day and night cycle happening in the title screen, where it transitions to different times, yeah, and be able to change it to different colors, right? And basically you have these clouds in here. If I were to select all of this and have some animations happening here, they will transition to this side a little bit, right? I think that looks pretty cool. I don't know if I want these islands in here as well. I may end up just removing it. It'll be pretty cool to be able to have some animating clouds, right? And that will just move along. Actually, you know what, let's why don't we move this a little bit forward and see how would it look like if it was in the front. Actually, I haven't tried that. What happens if it's in the front? All right, so now it's in the front. I don't know if I like it. Maybe smaller clouds will look better, right? I think smaller clouds will look better if you look at this side instead of looking at this. It will look better. Or maybe you can look at the bottom left here, on bottom right. Maybe smaller clouds will look in front a little bit better. So I was just trying to figure something out here. I got something cool looking here that can be really cool if I can get it in the right direction. But feel free to let me know, guys. You know, don't don't be too mean about it. You know, I'm not an artist. I just created this. It looks, I feel like I can create something cool in here, and maybe have the islands like animate up and down a little bit. But I think this will look pretty cool if I were to do that. That's basically what I have right now. And like I said, I debating if I want those islands on the side. So if I go to the trees, highlight over all of this stuff, delete it. There you go. And maybe I can move the logo to the side a little bit, right? Move the logo to the side, and maybe have the buttons on this side, right? I am unsure of what I want it to be at right now, and I just wanted to give you guys what I'm thinking of working on right now as well. Like, this is not final, but feel free to give me any feedback that you guys may have. And I do have this background as well, where like I said, this is a procedural generated world where I would like it for it to go like infinite in the back. So if I were to remove my clouds, you have this mountains in the back and the bottom, and I would like to make it so that like there's more stuff happening here and not just there. So you can think of my current title screen that you see here and this water here. It is basically in this area, and the camera is facing this direction, right? So the house will be somewhere in there, and if I were to zoom out from here, this is what is created. At least that's my logic, like talk about. So yeah, I'm just trying to work out something cool here, guys, but feel free to open if you have any feedback, put it in the comments, and maybe I'll work on my live stream. I'll do this in my live stream, and we can work on this together a little bit as well. I'm open to ideas, guys. I think this looks pretty cool regardless though. And yeah, that's basically it for this devlog, guys. I know it's kind of a little bit out of the place towards the end. I just lost focus when it came to recording a little bit there and determining what came first and what not. But I hope you guys did enjoy this devlog. And as always, you know, if you guys have any feedback throughout this game that I've had so far, feel free to post in the comments and let me know. Definitely would love to read them. Basically, yes. So what's next for my next devlog is, like I mentioned before, is just going to be art, hooking up all these features together to make it feel a little bit better, having more enemies and maybe more life into the world and the outer world and in the dungeon as well, and be able to hook those things together and maybe create a quest line, a quest manager that will handle all these quests that's going to be in this game. So I think that's like the next major thing that I would like to do for my game. But yeah, that's basically about it, guys. I hope you guys have a great day and a wonderful night depending on your time. If you guys are new here, feel free to join. If you want to join me on this journey, I will be going live on Mondays at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And if you guys are interested in joining, feel free to join, and I'll talk to you guys there if you guys are gonna be there.